Today I find a majority of accountability systems actually are always looking for who's at fault. And a lot of times accountability is reactive. It's like, okay, who was accountable for this after the result came in? No one's going to raise their hand, right? When something goes well, everybody wants accountability. Well, in our process, it's about upfront, we know who's accountable. And when you connect that new definition with the process, for the organization, what the benefit is every whole, W-H-O-L-E, of the pieces of your organization, so every team goal, every broader strategic goal, has someone accountable for it. And sometimes the accountability can be with a steering team, but the fact is we know who to go to be tracking it. We have a group of people or an individual who are committed to ensuring something gets done. And that's a shift. The other piece about accountability that I want to talk about is that people people use the word accountability and responsibility interchangeable. In our methodology, they're not interchangeable. Accountability is the commitment to get something done. Responsibility are the things that you can control. So it's your responsibility to control your own behavior, your own words, your own work. I'm just using my effort. Accountability is achieved often through other people. So we want to make sure that when we educate people and develop this ability to use a new system of accountability, that we understand the new definition, we have a new process, and we actually track that process and enable people to make commitments. One of the biggest shifts for leaders to implement this accountability process is not that they need to learn how to negotiate. I always inform them that the biggest shift for them is letting people negotiate with them. That's where they struggle, is that we have to let the lower levels, the work teams, have time to plan and enable them to push back. So those are some component pieces that can help in terms of shifting your thinking and training that the process allows you to go through. 1 through 4 is the front end. Clarify, request, plan to negotiate, make commitment. Stage 5 is actually execution. Do the work, right? So I have the commitment, it's actually produce the result. Once I get the end of stage 5, I have an outcome. Stage 6 is evaluate that outcome. And that's where we ask the question, yes or no. Did you achieve your accountability? Which is, did you meet your commitment? Not did you deliver upon the original request. So we track that in 6. We actually have consequences. So if you met that, there's a positive consequence. If you didn't, there could be a negative consequence. Stage 7 is lessons learned. So now I've went through the process, I want to make sure that I'm learning from what went well, what didn't go well, and we're actually embedding some changes for the next time, because we're constantly going through this accountability process on an everyday basis. The key, though, is although stage 7 is a lessons learned, I like to think about it as it's really a mindset throughout the whole thing. So when I'm in stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, I should be doing a lessons learned at each stage to really think about how can I do each stage better. So that's the 7 stages. The other piece about the process that we didn't talk about that I want to add is that building organizational relationships is a part of accountability. A lot of the current accountability processes are so focused on results, they don't measure the relationship piece tied to accountability. In a matrix, in an organization, those relationships are key to success. So for you to be successful at achieving your accountability, you have to produce the result or ensure it gets produced while you're building the relationships. If you're not building relationships, you're failing at accountability. And too often, and I've worked with people, they get lots of stuff done, but there are bodies on the railroad tracks. They've just left them and they've just stepped over people and no one wants to work with them again. That's not healthy for an organization. And we need to change that too, because the relationship, especially the non-authority based relationships, are too critical to the success of the organization.